Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. And you ready to watch possibly one of the games of the year, or at least a game of the year candidate? Today, our hero is going to be Krasn, who is playing in the ever-trusty Object 260. Now, when I like to play my Object 260, I like to play it like an absolute idiot. Krasn is going to definitely play this vehicle more sensibly, which I think is probably the way that you should play the Object 260. It's an immensely fast, but powerful Soviet heavy tank that was the final reward of the first set of personal missions. By the way, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think Wargaming should bring back another season of personal missions? It feels to me that they keep throwing in so many vehicles left, right, and center for rewards in game modes or just events that don't even really seem to make them that much money. I personally would love to have another season of personal missions, and all they'd need to do is have like 3 or 4 of the vehicles, one low tier, one mid tier, one high tier, to be able to go into the game. Seems like such a just a thought that I immediately had. It's such an unused resource as a way to keep a lot of players playing, or just give even the solo players who don't have so much of the interest in the clans or loners like me, I guess, who don't platoon as much anymore. That's because most of my friends stopped playing this game. Reasons to keep playing, right? Anyway, I digress. Krasn now is going to show you why the 260 is a worthwhile achievement to be able to get inside the game. It's a very good tank, but I wouldn't say that the vehicle's just outrageously overpowered. You don't really see too many of them in the matchmaking. You see them all in all. And I think Wargaming these days, considering that it has been not power crept a little bit, but its power has definitely diminished compared to a lot of other vehicles. I think when the tank first went into the game, it was very, very, very good. Now, about 8 years later, or whenever it was first introduced, it's a very good tank, don't get me wrong, but it's not the same as what it was all of those years ago. So Krasn is just doing excellent hold-down work here against an excellent hold-down tank. This game was from the last patch, if you're wondering why that Super Conqueror has 2,400 hit points. Now a Super Conqueror has 2,300 and has lost a little bit of the rate of fire. So Krasn is playing against Metal Pavel in their unnerfed Super Conqueror. Although I don't really think that the nerf to the Super Conqueror has really done too much. Krasn's just farming it up. In the first 2 minutes and 40 seconds of this game, they're up to 4,600 damage. They're making good use of a full aggression build here. They're using vents, bond vents at that, bond rammer and bond vert stabs. That improves the gun handling that this vehicle has. Although, honestly, the gun handling on this tank isn't that bad at 0.06 on the turret and 0.15 when moving. But it looks like Krasn just must absolutely have the smallest reticle possible while moving. While, of course, while stationary, you might want to use something like an aiming device on this vehicle, but it's fine enough. Krasn has not given any attention to durability. It's something that I think does work on this vehicle because of its excellent side armor. It has 150 on the side and 150 on the front, which means that you do want to over-angle this vehicle, but not over-angle it, but angle it enough to make sure that that lower plate is not easy. The only problem when you kind of angle this vehicle so much is then you make the upper plate pretty bad, but this is kind of like the most effective angle to be angling that hull armor at the front. So, Krasn has already done a good game's worth of damage less than 4 minutes into this round. They have been spamming heat, but against a Super Conqueror it is necessary. But the Super Conqueror now getting a couple of shots into Krasn as he decides to try and risk some of those hit points to remove the Super Conqueror to then try and turn a great game into possibly an incredible game. So shooting at the STRV-103B here, Krasn should definitely switch to APCR and then shoot just above the gun. That'll be the best chance against the Swedish tank destroyer in that scenario. And I bet you they've got intuition on this tank. We'll find out later on if we do hit that intuition switch. But yeah, APCR against the STRV. There's the intuition switch. It will be better. It looks like Krasn does a good job to switch out the heat to the APCR to finish off that UDES in the side. So the Super Conqueror comes around the corner, doesn't quite manage to find the shot, and that is all she wrote as Krasn finishes off the Tier 10 British heavy tank. So now, with the heavy tank vanquished and 3 kills to the name, Krasn is going to see how they can get into this battle. It's a bit awkward, right? Centurion 7-1 to the left, lots of heavy to the right, and whoa, the Centurion 7-1 actually penetrates a high explosive round into the side of Krasn's tank. They're removing 522 hit points. And then suddenly, a game where Krasn looked as if it was going to be very easy, or at least very safe in a close game, is now starting to look a little bit suspect. Krasn caught out in the open against the A phase 1, doesn't quite manage to find the shot against the A phase 1, but finishes off the T110E5. Krasn now up to 4 kills, turns their attention towards the center of the town and takes another penetrating shot from the A phase 1, quite rightly repairing their fuel tanks. Good plays. If you're not using a fire extinguisher and you leave your fuel tanks vulnerable, you are asking to be burned. And with enough hit points and enough tanks that have sub like 400 alpha damage on the enemy team, or exactly 400 alpha damage in the case of the M103, it's a very good choice to repair those fuel tanks. So Krasn now finds themselves behind the Clan Wars reward tank, the VK7201K. And I'd like to see Krasn actually push the VK forwards. Nice play there to keep them facing the Moistion, but unfortunately Krasn's let the VK turn round, and even though their rate of fire is great, they're going to have to ricochet a shell here. The VK bounces off a standard round from Krasn, but they wish they used that 350 heat that tank has, and Krasn finishes off the VK7201 just in time to stop a full health Kunzerpanzer and a possible 3/4 health Boras from being able to flank them. They're on 445 hit points, 9,000 damage to their name, and oh, it's over. Boras got their side. Wait, the Boras didn't have 2 shots? Why would they engage at 260 with only 1? Krasn shoots the tier 8 French autoloader, setting them on fire at the same time, having just now missed an opportunity to pick up the final shot on the Boras. Alright, Krasn has a full health Kunzerpanzer, and I love this play. Krasn realizes the Kunzerpanzer is going to be coming, narrowly avoids the shell, and ducks out of here, while also still putting 1 shot in to now get some cover between them and 2 enemy tanks. That is just high-end play there. We are seeing why Krasn has just smashed more damage than most people will in World Tanks. 10,000. But it doesn't matter because the Kunzerpanzer, misses the side of their vehicle, giving Krasn one more chance to be able to catch them. And with the APCR round, just clutching the shot as they get around the corner, with Krasn now frantically trying to figure out whether Borask will be approaching them. Will they be flanking from the side or taking a fight from maybe the behind? But luckily the Borask is right out in front of Krasn, who has now destroyed half of the enemy team. They're on 7 frags, but they need 1 more to be able to get the Radley Walters medal. And the Centurion 7-1 finishing off the Char Future 4 means that Krasn still has a lot of problems to contend with. Now the Borask actually spots Krasn, probably from the bush, just on the corner, but Krasn's worried that maybe the STRV is flanking around the east. We can see how twitchy Krasn is here. Very, very tense stuff. Krasn also not even having that much ammunition left, as this vehicle, it doesn't really carry the biggest amount of ammo at 40, with Krasn having 2 heat, 3 APCR, and 2 HE to their name, and 3,200 hit points on the enemy team. Yeah, this could end up being very tense. Although, we don't know how many hit points the Centurion 7-1 is on in the field, because they're outside the render distance, so they could be on anything right now. The Borask behind Krasn. Is Krasn going to react? Is the Borask going to be able to find Krasn? And for somehow, Krasn actually manages to outspot the Borask. They're looking for the shot. They don't hit the shell, and now the Borask keeps going. That's a complete disaster for Krasn. The nerves must be getting to Krasn. That wasn't the finest of marksmanship I've seen from a player who has smashed 11,000 damage, but their heart must be pounding. Now, with only 2 APCR, 2 heat, we can finally see what hit points the Centurion 7-1 was on as Krasn managed to make their way into the town. And luckily, with the Centurion 7-1 out of the game with the 430 still alive on 1/4 of their hit points, Krasn has a much better chance of being able to get through this one. They bundle their way forwards, can't quite get round the 60 TP, look behind them expecting the Borask to be able to come after them, and figure that they should go left through the bigger gap there, rather than just trying to snake their way through to try and support the 430. So in this kind of a situation, the Borask could be anywhere, so I think it's just a case of trying to commit and trying to find the STRV before the Borask can try and play that scouting role and maybe even get the 430 out towards the west, or even start capping the base. So Krasn is going to commit. They've had a fantastic game so far, but they're not afraid to risk it at the end. And there's the STRV 103B. Krasn puts 1 heat round in through the side. The STRV 103B, pressured from the left and the right, decides to be going out one direction to go after the 430, the tank that isn't a one-shot. The STRV probably should have turned there, tanked the shot from the 430 and managed to finish off Krasn, but Krasn's going to take the advantage to put an APCR round into the side of the STRV, have a look to their left expecting the Borask is going to hunt them, and are they going to use their APCR round here on the side of the STRV? It's a good kill, but arguably it would have been nice to keep that APCR round to have that extra shell velocity to be able to deal with the Borask. Now they've lost that 1,200 opportunity, and now they're down to 900 shell velocity with the final remaining non-HE shell in their tank. They bounce a shell from the Borask, get respotted by the Borask, ping the map where the Borask is, spot the Borask. They only have one heat round and then it's down to HE. The HE shell velocity on this tank only 700 meters. That's going to be hard to contend with. Krasn now up to 8 kills, needs to catch this Borask before they try to reset the engagement. They aim. No way, Krasn. Krasn misses the final remaining heat round in their tank. They have 2 more HE shells. Is this going to be game of the year, or is it going to be heartbreak of the year? Krasn now can't spot the Borask anymore. Only 700 meters a second shell velocity on these HE rounds. They have to practically be artillery, and luckily Krasn has great shot at the end there. The scrolling of the mouse wheel, I can tell that one was tense. And with only 1 shell left in their vehicle, no fudging of the Faden's medal, a decent aim after some bad misses on that Borask, and Krasn smashes 12,600 damage and 9 frags to their name in what was just an incredible, heart-pounding game of World of Tanks. What a monster game here. Krasn pretty much putting their entire team on the back, damaging 10 of the enemy vehicles and finishing off 9 of them to be able to get that Radley Walters medal. 12,600 damage and a ridiculous near 1,800 base experience, and Krasn, due to a lot of credit payouts, still makes profit even with that 150,000 credits spent on ammunition. With the armor of the 260 as well, keeping Krasn in it with enough damage blocked, 5,500 nearly, to destroy this vehicle a couple times over. I absolutely loved this game. I loved Krasn's tight plays early, and I love that a great escape from the Kunzerpanzer and the Borask. They showed great tactical awareness while they were under pressure, and while I feel like the nerves maybe got to them a little bit at the end with some of those shells on the Borask, hey, this was still an epic game of World of Tanks. So Krasn, congratulations to you on what might be the best game of this year. I absolutely loved it, and thank you so much for uploading it onto the What Replays website for the community to enjoy. I thoroughly did, and I knew I wanted to feature it on YouTube. And I hope all of you out there who watched this video enjoyed it just as much as I did. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it goes live on Monday, there are brand new drops available right now, so you can get more of Wargaming's 13th anniversary birthday cupcakes just for watching my stream, to get yourself things like premium time, 2D styles, or even 3D styles for the T57 Heavy, the Kranvang, or the T27 Skoda. So really looking forward to seeing you all live on Twitch. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.